is Pranav Guha Thakurtar from EduTV from Studio New Delhi. With us is Mrs. Rana, Mrs. Aradhna Rana. She's the director of the Icon Public School, Ahmednagar, Maharashtra. And she has taken up the school in a very nice manner. She works very hard with the students, teachers, school, authorities. Ma'am, like from last 1.5 years, the things are a bit different. Like the board has cancelled the examinations of class 12 and the students will get the results after some time and they are not sure of what kind of marks they will be getting because it is not in their hand. It will be given on the basis of the last 3 years classes or internal assessment or whatever it is. That I'm sure CBSE will have a wonderful way to do it. And as universities, different universities also in India and abroad have different kind of entry criteria. Like in Delhi University, ma'am, we have cutoff list. We have percentage. The percentage goes up to 99%, 100%. Similarly, many other colleges, universities, they have their own entrance. Like all the IITs, NIT, they have their entrance, or Motilal Nehru Institute, or NID. Fine. So different universities have different kind of way of admitting students. And in abroad, things are a bit more different. Yeah. They check on the community services. They check on your SOP, statement of purpose, and many other things. Marks is also one of the criteria. Now, as on the 1st of June, the class 12th examinations are cancelled. And how do you think? We need your advice for the universities as well as for the schools also. A smooth functioning, a smooth transition between these aspirants for universities. I'm talking about passing out class 12 students and the universities. Yes, ma'am.
Pranav, thank you very much. We've been, since the time Prime Minister has announced, cancellation of class 12, I think all over India, there's been a lot of discussion. And though, of course, my saying it will not make any difference to the CBSE or anybody, but a lot of educators, I think, are talking a lot on it. And like I've always on your show been the eternal optimist, and so am I in this case. You see, what we are going through are exceptional circumstances. Now, right. If you see, in great civilizations have evolved after a lot of volcanic activity has taken place, whether literally or figuratively, in society. So anything that is this kind of harsh will bring out newer systems, eventually. And I feel that this particular phase, it should not have been there, very unpleasant. But for the education sector, it will throw out a lot of challenges and we have to deal with them. And I think ultimately it will change the whole scenario of education, which is long overdue. I'll give you an example, that like you also were mentioning, Delhi University. I'm from Delhi University, and during our times, the cutoff percentages were reasonable. Like Hindu College, I remember in my time, the cutoff percentage, it was about 80s, 88, 89. It used to close at that. Reasonable. And Stephens used to close at about 80s. Lady Shriram used to close around, 85 odd. So, but now what has happened is Lady Shriram closing psychology, political science at 100%. Doesn't it bother anybody that what is wrong with the education system? Can any student get 100% in any art subject which is descriptive? So as it is, I think the whole system was very lopsided. And now within this year, when there are no examinations, what is the CBSE actually contemplating? we have a trust deficit with the CBSE and the schools. You see, the moment you make me a teacher, not even a principal, you are entrusting 100 students in my care minimum. Actually, the teacher takes much more. I'm influencing at least 100 to 200 students, every year. Now, if you are entrusting me with this responsibility, you don't think that I'm trustworthy enough to judge my students?
Correct.
So you put an external examiner, and now the CBSE puts an observer on the external examiner, because that is also not trusted. So where are we going? Eventually, it is me. I am in touch with the students as a teacher. So I should be able to assess.
Correct.
And this is what is going to happen this year. How many? You cannot have any external examiners. So eventually, the teachers are going to assess. Now, the other side of the story is that because all this was, the teachers were not trusted, schools were not trusted. So eventually, wherever they could find loopholes, not that the loopholes were plugged, wherever they could find loopholes, marks were given. That is how, and then their own examiners who marked papers were giving these 100%. My student last year, my students, couple of them scored 100% in English. If I had checked the papers, I would not have given them beyond 75. So this is the difference in the marking system of CBSE. Now, everybody's got used to this 100%. And every school is going to feel that the whole country, I may be honest, I may be good, but if my children are going to compete against ABC, who's going to be dishonest and give 100%, so what is wrong? Why should I penalize my students? So I'll also give 100%. So as a result, the marks are going to be very, very inflated. Now, this is where the CBSE comes in. In the 10th examination, what they did, they gave you a particular year reference year. They said, okay, according to this reference year, you mark your students. Now, like we got the reference year of 2018-19. Now, 18-19 for us, it's not a personal issue, because for us, it was very, very smooth, no problems. But for a lot of schools, say 18-19, the children did not do well. Now, this year, if they feel that the children are doing very well, which is again, very debatable, because the assessments have all been online. Now, since we are as teachers not being trusted, we don't trust the students either. So we feel they've cheated and got marks. So true or not true, but the fact remains that there is a trust deficit everywhere. Now, these principals, they were cribbing that we got an 18-19 year. Some students did not do well, but this year our batch is very bright. So how do we lower the marks? Increasing the marks is not a problem. How do we lower the marks to fit into that? Is it fair that you compare our students in this year to 18-19 students? It's not fair. So this year, like I was on a forum yesterday, and what I suggested was that compare a student to his own performance. So whatever, say, I was a class 10 student 2 years ago, in 2 years, I cannot become a genius and I cannot become a duffer. So if I have scored, say, 80% in 10th, I'm likely to score 85 or maybe 75 in class 12, depends on how much I've studied. So compare me to myself. If you want to take about 30-40% of 10th marks, because that is my marks, my capability, my academic capability, then 30% were practical marks in any case. Some of the schools have finished their practicals, like we have sent up practical examination marks to the board, so it's quite okay. Now, some schools have not finished their practicals, but even schools who had finished their practicals, you would also know how practicals are done and how many marks they're getting. The range of practical marks ranges between 26 to 30 out of 30. So in any case, they are inflated marks. So all that marks the student has got. Now what remains is 30 to 40% of assessment during this year. Now, instead of taking one particular assessment, assess them over 5 assessments, 2 pre-boards maybe, all schools have had some pre-boards, 2 pre-boards and 3 normal tests. And those 5 combined take out an average. So it's a fair kind of system to judge a student. So with all this, that is, I mean, nothing is ideal. Everybody will have problems with everything. But I thought that was a relatively fair system of judging students. So with this, if now you have to trust the schools, pre-boards, if schools have had, see most of the public schools, good schools, they're doing a very above board kind of job. But there are pockets. You cannot have a diverse country like India on one platform. And you say, okay, everybody treated on the same scale. It cannot be true. But in any case, we can't help it. So let's do it whatever we can do. Now, with this kind of a scenario, when the children now go into universities, I think this upheaval is a tremendous opportunity for colleges and universities to have an inward look to see what they can do. Now, why do universities abroad not totally depend on our marks? One, we also know marks have actually no meaning. Secondly, Pranav, we also know that class 12, a chunk of our students don't take class 12 seriously because they are actually preparing for NEET, JEE, and competitive examinations. So this board, they want to get only 75% to sort of qualify for these examinations. They're not taking it seriously. There have been children who qualified for NEET, qualified for JEE, and got about 70% in both because they're not bothered, and that's okay. So this is if this is the way we are working. Is it fair for colleges now to take them just on board examinations for the marks? No. So each college depends on, like, take a typical case of Lady Shriram in Delhi. Their cutoff percentage for political science is 100%. What do they want political science students to be? These 12 standard students, if they have studied, all of them are not art students. There are some science students, there are some commerce students. In political science, anybody can take. So now they are equating the child's brilliance with marks. Not true. So why shouldn't they judge them on their political acumen? Which means what does political science require? It needs a very good reasoning ability. It needs the knowledge, actually, the theoretical knowledge is only the pillar. So what you need to become a good political person, passion. You need social work. You need that, inward thing of being able to do good to the country. That we're not judging. We are taking the 100%. Why is it? Psychology. To be a psychologist, I don't need to be a 100% student. A 70% student may become a good psychologist because he has that analytical ability. So they have to conduct these kind of tests for different courses depending on what they need. Why would they take 100%? So I think this upheaval will teach them a lot. And overall, also, second lesson I think the students will learn is that they have to do well throughout. Now, in all the forums when we discussed, a lot of principals are saying don't consider 11 standard marks. Why? Because the students have not studied, they've not taken 11 seriously. Now, if you're going to do 2 years and out of that 1 year you're not going to take seriously, are you getting educated? That's not education. You're just studying for that 1 point program of giving 12th exams. So ultimately, I think it will lead to a lot of rethinking in this whole structure, which is really good. As far as smooth transition is concerned, I would really recommend that every college sees what are the qualities they need in the students in a particular, stream. So depending on the subject, they do take aptitude tests, and if foreign countries can do it, why can't Indian universities do? Delhi University is such a fantastic university. They have, I think the best faculty in the country. They can come up with great solutions.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And I'm really impressed with your ideas and your suggestions. As you told that in Delhi University, it was roughly 80-85% marks for best of the colleges at one point of time. Now it has gone up to 100%. And I 100% agree with you. A psychologist need more time to talk to the society, people, understand them, rather than trying to get 100 or 100 marks.
Same so that is why this portfolio building is very important.
Like, ma'am, in abroad, especially US and UK, even in Australia now, they give good number of marks for community services.
Yes, yes.
So that's it. Then I don't think so. Our students going to our universities have ever written a statement of purpose why they are doing that course.
Yes. Why not? I mean, these are the students who are going to become our future citizens.
Correct.
Why should not they work in? And now, Pranav, is the best time, because you see, by the time we make our results and it will be July, August, the universities are enrolling now. Some of the students actually have given all this and enrolled in universities already without the 12th, without the 12th being cancelled.
Yes.
So you see, if these are the smart ones, these are the people who know what life skills are about. They
Correct.
have anticipated. If 12th exams honge ki nahi honge, we don't know. But let us start. Now there are a chunk of them who are sleeping. Okay, we will see exam. Now you see the difference in the attitude of these children. And this is what will differentiate them. And if they have they have this time lag. Now, if they announce, okay, there will be aptitude tests and statement of purpose will be done, your portfolios will be built. These are the same children who will suddenly wake up now. So they have June, they have July to do something, build up their portfolios and go to colleges to enroll. Colleges are not starting enrolling before July. Correct. So they have 1 or 2 months to show what they're capable of.
Very true, ma'am. Plus, ma'am, I have seen one more thing in our country. Suppose I don't get my preferred course in a college, so I'll take any course in a reputed college, whether I'm interested in or not, so that reputation of the college will help me, which doesn't happen. So that is also a very big debate. Will definitely come after a couple of days. Course over college. I think this is the burning thing, and I'm sure your ideas will help many students. And statement of purpose not only for the universities, ma'am. It will make things clear for the individual also, ma'am, where he or she wants to go.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Ms. Aradhna Rana. It is always pleasure talking to you. Thanks a ton, ma'am. And I'm sure this will help all the stakeholders, even the society. Thank you so much, ma'am.